All right, so we've waited a day and given the stain a chance to dry. Now we can come back and sand off the extra material that wasn't supposed to get stained, and we can begin the epoxy process. We're just gonna start by applying a very thin coat to the back. That way, both front and back will be sealed. We're starting with the back. That way, if anything goes over the edges, we can just sand that down. And that way, when we apply to the front and sides, we get a nice even coat around the sides. All right, now that we've finished the sanding process and removed all the dust with compressed air and a vacuum, we can begin the epoxying process. To do this, you want to make sure you have some gloves to keep from coating your hands, mixing cups and a mixer. And then you also really want to make sure you have a plastic tarp down because this will ruin anything it touches. All right, so I'm not gonna need that much. I'm just gonna try and pour 1 ounce into each cup. This is a 1-to-1 ratio resin. So for each part, you want roughly equal amounts. So we got just about 1 ounce. Part A, the resin, and we'll pour the hardener. This is a less viscous, so it's a bit easier to pour. I recommend pouring the resin first because it's harder to control the amount that you'll get out of that. And I forget which one's which, but there's one that if you're gonna have more of, it's better to have that one. I can't remember off the top of my head though. This is pretty even, so we're good there. For this particular epoxy, it recommends mixing for 3 to 5 minutes. And we'll move it back and forth between cups to make sure that we don't have any resin-rich or hardener-rich spots. And once we begin to mix it, we have to be sure to use it fast. So I'm gonna mix it for about 1.5 minutes in this cup and then move it to the next cup. All right. All right, now that we've mixed that for a little over 3 minutes, we can begin to pour. Like I said, I just want a thin amount on the backs of each of these. So I'm just gonna do a little glob at a time so I can evenly distribute. between all 5. It's better to have more than you need than to need to go back and mix more up if you didn't mix enough in the first place, because then the first batch is going to be setting before you can finish mixing the new batch. This might actually be a lot more than I needed in the first place, so I'm just going to put a little bit back. Really just want a thin coat, just enough to glaze the surface. Like I said, anything I accidentally get on the edges, I'll just sand off, but I don't want anything to get on the front part just yet. And then it's okay if this doesn't get level, because if you have a blow dryer or a heater, applying a little bit of heat will lower the viscosity and it'll spread out into a nice even finish. Just gonna apply a little bit back. I accidentally scraped this one a little too thin. It looks like I have about 1.5 ounces left, so I really only used 1/2 ounce, but I don't think I could have accurately mixed 1/4 ounce of the hardener and 1/4 ounce of the resin, so I recommend, like I said, mixing more than you think you need. And we'll go ahead and apply some heat. All right, we'll let those guys sit overnight, or maybe a day or two, and come back, maybe sand down the sides and get rid of the extra epoxy I accidentally applied, and do the front side.